Hi, it's 8 o'clock here in Central European summertime, although it doesn't really feel like summer anymore. And I'm live for my weekly Facebook Live every Wednesday at 8 o'clock or sometimes at 7. So I posted earlier today on our Facebook page and in our free Facebook group, Back to Basics, that I'm coming live tonight, and I want to talk about the myths, the common myths about positive dog training. So these Facebook Lives are always automatically recorded, so most of you actually do see them as a recording, and I'm so happy that so many people are watching these lives. Every week there is between 700 to 1,500 people or up to 2,000 people actually watching them. So it's crazy. And I don't even want to think about the numbers because it makes me nervous. So if you are here and if you want to tell me where you are, I would love to hear from you because we are always a very international community here at Nordic Dog Trainer. This is one of the um, the what can I say? You you don't realize the positive effect that the international environment has until you experienced it. The same goes for our courses, our online courses. They're very international. So I'm so happy to see people from so many different countries. So far we have Anja here in Norway in Farsund, and then we have Mannen in the Netherlands. Hi Mannen, long time no see. We have Rina in Buckinghamshire, UK. We have Jill in South Africa. Now we're moving on to other continents. And Jill in Wales. Lovely to see all of you. And I think actually South Africa has the same time as Central European time. So that's great. Croatia, Carmela from Croatia. We have Hamad in Norway and Caro in France. Thank you for being here. And I'm not going to share my screen or anything. It's a long time since I've been able to do a Zoom on Facebook because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, unfortunately. So I don't want even to plan for it. So that's why I'm not making a PowerPoint or anything for these lessons until we find out if Zoom agrees to promise to cooperate with Facebook or the other way around. I don't know where the problem is. Nicole is here from Switzerland and Ellen is here from the Netherlands. Great. And Kamla also posted her flag from Croatia in the comments. So if you want to do that, put a flag of your country next to it. It's even more cool to watch the chat. Okay, so this evening I prepared 10 very common myths about positive dog training. So the thing is that a few years ago, not too long ago, uh, only a few years ago, positive dog training became a thing. So we started calling, we all did, all dog schools said that they were doing positive dog training, which of course, I mean, what's the opposite of positive dog training? You don't want to say that you're doing the opposite of positive dog training, do you? So what happened was that um, everyone started calling their courses and whatever they were doing, the kind of activities they were doing for positive dog training. So according to myself, if you ask me, that phrase positive dog training doesn't really have a meaning anymore since everyone is saying that they're doing it. So traditional dog trainers and different kind of dog trainers. Everyone is calling themselves positive dog trainer or dog training. So positive dog training to understand what it means, you actually have to read what's on the school's website or social media, wherever they have their information. Talk to them, and maybe even observe one of their activities or courses before you decide if that's for you or not, because there's so many different ways of training dogs, so many. um, and there are a lot of websites out there, dog schools, that they say they have instructors that have an education, but it doesn't say anything about from where the education is, from what school or from what school of thoughts. So, as you might know, being a dog trainer doesn't really mean anything. Don't tell you anything, because it's not a protected title as such. Everyone can call themselves a dog trainer. I know that if you're living in the US or in the UK, you have developed a good system for dog trainers and behaviorists, but it's still a private organization. There's nothing official about this. So sometimes we do get emails from people asking if Nordic is officially recognized, and we are not, because it's impossible to be, because there are no such thing. Even, the Kennel Club is a breeders organization with their head office in Belgium, I believe. Yeah, in Belgium. And they have national organizations in different countries. And that, even that is a private organization. So in this field of dog training, everything is private organizations. And anyone can start an organization. So it's difficult and it's confusing to be a dog owner. We are very responsible for trying to find out what kind of background the people that we're learning from have. And as a new dog owner, or as a dog owner at all, I would say, I'm claiming that if you're a dog caretaker, you're not uh, a dog geek, a behavior geek that we are, which is natural. So it's like me going to the dentist or the hairdresser. I would like to, fix my hair or my teeth, but I don't necessarily want to become a dentist every time I go to the dentist. Or I don't want to be a hairdresser just because I go and do my hair. Um, but luckily for dentists and even hairdressers, we have kind of official degrees and stuff. So you know what kind of people are taking care of you. But when it comes to dog training, not so much. So you need to be aware of that, because the responsibility lies on you to find the right course and the right dog trainer for you. Okay. So we got more people in the chat from Austria. Sandra is here. Corinne from Switzerland, and Tati in Belgium. Good. Okay. So I want to talk about the 10 common myths about positive dog training. And I want to debunk them, of course. So let's start with number 1. Positive training means never saying no to your dog. And that's, of course, wrong. The reality is that positive dog training emphasizes on teaching dogs what to do rather than focusing on what they cannot do. But it doesn't mean that we don't have any boundaries. It definitely doesn't mean that our dogs are allowed to do anything they want, to, walk on tables and to eat our food and to go to the toilet wherever they want, and all of these things. Of course, we have to have rules. We have to have house rules. We need to redirect unwanted behavior, but we do it with reinforcing, with positive alternatives rather than using punishment. And I think it's something now I'm going to, maybe I'm going to like receive threats afterwards, but the fact is that some trainers also call themselves, I think the word is balanced. So from what I have seen, a balanced dog trainer is using both positive uh, reinforcement and punishment. So that's not a thing either, by the way. It's a mix of crazy stuff, I have to say. So it doesn't help the dog um, anything. Um, Myth number 2 on this is very common. Positive training is just about bribing dogs with treats. Actually, in Norway, they even have a term for it, a very degrading term, and they call it um, treat and aunts, like an uncle and aunt. So basically, just and they say it for the female, the aunt, the female part of the of humans, especially that we just walk around with a big bag of treats and give it to the dogs. Again, yes, we do use treats. It's a very powerful motivator for dogs to teach them something new. But at Nordic Dog Trainer, we also focus very much on stopping to use the treats, not to become dependent on it, not to, bribe the dog to do something, because then the value is like nothing. Then you are dependent on treats. And we very often do not use treats. To be honest, with my 10-year-old Wilma now, I can't remember last time she got a treat for something she did. Okay? So, treats are a powerful motivator, and we definitely do not use them as a bribe. If you do, that's a misunderstood training concept. So, number 3, it's only effective with puppies, not adult dogs. Of course, that's not true. Positive training works for dogs of all ages, and as you know, regardless of their age, dogs are always able to learn something new, by the way. That's another myth that, can't learn an old dog new tricks. That's just not true, because they can learn through their whole life, just as humans. We do that as well. So they can learn new behaviors, especially if you're patient and consistent. And in fact, many dogs benefit greatly from the mental stimulation and clear communication that the positive training provides. Myth number 4 is that positive training takes too long to see the results. So it might take a little bit longer initially to see the new behaviors positively, the new behaviors that we're teaching the dogs. But, and this is a fact, the results tend to be more reliable and long-lasting, So it's a good investment. Additionally, when dogs learn through positive experience, they are more engaged and eager to participate in the training, which again can speed up the process. So yes, it might take a little longer, but not a lot. Really, really not a lot. And I was just talking, was it yesterday on level 3 with the students about reusing the hand signal and how it immediately changes everything. It's something we don't even teach the dog. It's just something that we do with our body language, and then dogs understand it. And by using the hand signal, we are eliminating a lot of no's and stops and all this kind of I'm not saying that that's a very negative thing, but it's just too much, basically. It's too much. And it's not pleasant if you have to go around saying, no, don't do that, don't touch that, don't do this, don't do that, don't sit there, don't sleep there, stop doing that, stop chewing. Uh-uh. So, myth number 5. Dogs trained with positive methods will become spoiled. No, 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 no. And I discussed being spoiled dogs. What is a spoiled dog? Just a few weeks ago. So you can find that in the recordings here on the Facebook page. But positive training teaches dogs to make good choices. It's leading to a better behavior overall, actually. It encourages more self-control for the dog, which helps him or her to learn when it's appropriate to be calm and to be excited. And it creates dogs that are well behaved because they understand what's expected of them in different situations. Instead, sorry, not instead, but that they understand what's expected of them, and not because they are fearful of being punished. And that's another thing, as I've spoken about this before as well. When we use punishment, it works. That's the thing. It always works on any living animal and human species, any species that have feelings and can feel pain or discomfort. It works, and it works pretty quickly as well. Depending, the stronger the punishment, the more quicker it might work. And you know why? Because we all try to avoid discomfort and, of course, pain. And if it really worked, why are we still, if that's ask yourself this question. So if punishment works, why are we using, for example, slip leads or anti-barking devices that spraying, citrus or water into their eyes repeatedly after, for a long time after? You should have been able to stop using those devices that is making things painful for your dog if it was effective. So why is a dog wearing a choke collar his whole life if it was really effective? Okay, myth number 6. Some breeds, and this is a very common one, some breeds needs harsher training to be controlled. And that's not true. That's just not true. All breeds, from high energy breeds, working dogs, to smaller dogs, companion dogs, can learn through positive training. And the approach may need to be tailored to the individual dog, or let me correct myself, not even may, but should be, have to be tailored to the individual dog. That's what we always do at Nordic. You learn the methods and then you need to tailor it, the training, to each and every dog and dog caretaker. No one is the same. So, and since we're living with our dogs and humans, we have to make a good plan or training plan for both the dog and the human. So yeah, there is no breeds that inherently requires punishment-based methods to learn. No breeds, okay? This is a big misunderstanding. It's unfair, and it creates just even more untrue myths about certain breeds. I'm sure many of you are aware of that. Also, because in some certain countries we're starting to forbid certain breeds now. Okay. Myth number 7. Positive training doesn't work with serious behavior issues like aggression. I wish I had Amber Batson here, Dr. Amber Batson. They're just finishing her aggression course now in October, and I am sure she would have a lot to say about that. But positive training in particularly is effective for addressing behavior issues like aggression, because it helps reduce fear and stress in the dog. And fear and stress is very often an underlying cause of the aggression, of the aggressive behavior. So by using desensitization, trainers can teach dogs to associate previously negative triggers with positive experiences and reduce the stress, because they don't have to fear being punished. So actually, especially if you have aggression issues, um, punish-based methods is really it's always the wrong thing to do, I think, but you really would make a lot of the behavior worse. And we have too many examples on that, I'm sorry, also on television programs. So especially for dogs with aggression behaviors, we need to use positive training methods. Myth number 8, dogs won't respect you if you use positive reinforcement. No. The reality is that dogs trained using positive methods often have a deeper bond and connection and respect for their owners, because the relationship is based on on trust, not fear. And this is something that we take very seriously at Nordic Dog Trainer, and that's kind of the foundation of what we do, is to learn how they communicate through calming signals, so that we can create that trust and that bond with our dogs, which is so important for everything, just not only for training, but behavior in general, and feelings and life and feeling safe and all of these things. To have a dog that is not anxious, not fearful, and enjoys life better. Myth number 9, you can't train a dog without using punishment. So many professional trainers and dog owners have successfully trained with purely positive methods without resorting to physical or verbal punishment, because punishment is not only physical, it's also verbal or mental. And we know that's true for people, so of course it's true also for animals. So positive dog training is focusing on reinforcing the that was difficult for me to say, desired behaviors that we want, while preventing and redirecting the ones we don't. And the last myth today is that dogs only listen when you have a treat in your hand. If that's the case, you've done it wrong. Because then you're dependent on treats, and you may have used it as a bribe, true enough, and it's not the true way of doing positive dog training. So a properly trained dog doesn't rely on treats to perform a behavior or to do what we want them to do. Treats are used during the learning phase. So when we teach them something new, and then we phase it out, and we change the treats to verbal praise or looking at your dog. Eye contact with your dog is in many cases a very high reward for our dogs. So you can talk to your dog, you can even pet your dog, touch your dog, play with your dog. There are many different kind of praise that does not involve treats. In fact, when I was doing courses myself, this was part of all my classes, my dog classes, with adolescent dogs, adult dogs, and puppies. So we had the dog owners try out all the different kinds of um, uh, praise, or what is it in English? Um, Rewards, treats, so touching the dog, petting the dog in a place that your dog likes to be petted, talking to the dog, and playing with the dog. And the thing is, everyone realized, almost everyone, the last thing was that they could choose what to use. And when they chose it, the dog owner chose the kind of reward. They 90% of the time chose treats because it was the easiest for them to do. Not necessarily because the dog preferred it, but it was the easiest for the dog owner to do. And we could see, when you know the dog's language and you know the calming signals, the body language, you can see a lot of the dog's personality and how he thinks and how, why he's behaving the way he is. So we could see then that a lot of dogs really preferred other ways of being rewarded than treats. So this treat hype is really that's what it is. It's just a hype. It's very often based on not facts and not learning psychology. So treats are used during the learning phase to teach a behavior, but over time we are changing the treats to other rewards like praise or play, or simply just, sometimes the dogs are just happy with the result that the behavior gave them. So just to give an example, to increase distance to another dog because you're fearful or don't like or feel a bit, you don't feel comfortable in the situation, increasing the distance makes the dogs more relaxed and less stressed, and that is a high reward. That reward for the dog is much higher than a treat, right? So some of the things we actually do is also a reward for the dog. And also, ultimately, the dog is deciding what's rewarding to them, right? So we can't decide that. So as the dog becomes more confident in the behavior that we are teaching them, the frequency of when we give treats will be gradually reduced. And this is always something I mention on my practical courses, is that as important as using treats instead of punishment is to stop using treats, when it's time for it. When your dog knows what to do, then we can start to fade out the use of treats. Okay, that was a lot about treats, but I know that that's a big discussion point very often. Okay, that was the 10 myths about positive dog training. And I think a lot of people need to hear this. A lot of people want to hear it. They feel, I'm talking from my own experience and from literally hundreds of our students who are saying that when they train their dog using traditional methods or any kind of whatever, some methods doesn't even have a name, they're just, whatever it is, it's just a mix of different methods, whatever the dog trainer prefers to use. So for a lot of people, it doesn't feel right to punish your dog. And I'm not only talking about physically, but verbally also, and to correct your dog, just, jerking the leash or something like that. So it just doesn't feel right. So they feel very happy and they're very relaxed when they hear that you don't have to do it. So that's what I mean with, you should actually share this if you have a friend with a dog who we are discussing this with, maybe they need to hear this as well. We all do. Um, so I'm looking in the chat. We have Nina from Serbia here as well. Welcome, welcome. And Maria in Mexico. So Manon is writing, it's heartbreaking seeing people using punishment and getting angry if their reaction is aggressive. Yes, it's a lot of heartbreaking things when it comes to animals or people in general. About that, I'm very, very concerned about all the animals in Florida at the moment. I watch the news and my Facebook feed is full of dogs, cats and other pets that desperately needs a home because the owners left them when they were evacuating. And I'm not even going to try and explain how that makes me feel. I also lived for 1 year in the Tampa Bay area, so I kind of feel, yeah. If anyone of you hear this, please go out and help if you can. Okay. I don't think there are any questions about this. Are there? It's pretty clear, isn't it? It's at least pretty clear what I, a Nordic dog trainer, thinks about the matter. So, thank you for being here tonight. I'm just looking in the chat in case there are any questions. I usually, after the live, so if you're watching this as a recording, I don't go back and really answer questions. That's the thing. I know there might be a time difference and everything, and if you really have a question for us, then you should go into our Back to Basics free Facebook group. We have teachers, dog trainers in there who are happy to answer your questions. I'll post the link to the Facebook group when we just finished the live here. So you can go ahead and ask to become a member. It's absolutely free. It's just a free thing we do. We have 2,600 people in there now. We just started this summer. So we used to have a lot of different Facebook groups, and then it was just chaotic. So we created one new one and have everyone in that group together with our teachers, so you can actually get some advice, some useful training advice from us for free. I hope to see you next Wednesday. I almost said the same time, but I'm not sure. I think this is just how I need to do it. Wednesday is my only day to do this because I do teach in the evenings all other days, sometimes weekends as well. So Wednesday is the only day. But sometimes it's better at 8 and sometimes it's better at 7. So you just have to watch when I post the event on the same day. I write if it's 7 or 8 o'clock. I'm sorry it's like that, but I have things to do, places to see, people to visit. No, but seriously, I do live far away from everything, and I need to do stuff. I need to visit my mother, who's now in a home, and we're trying to make her room nice, so we're furnishing her room and stuff. So lots of things going on. Basically, life is going on, isn't it? Life always happens. So, see you next Wednesday at 7 or 8 o'clock. I will let you know on the Wednesday during the day. So, have a nice week, everyone. Have a nice weekend. Evening. And then do share this video about the myths of positive dog training, because it's working. It is. Have a nice evening, everyone. Bye.